is Gardner Dewu, and I'm coming from Ekurhuleni East TVET College, which is also home to the Gauteng Foundry Training Center that started or opened its operations in 2013 with the assistance of several stakeholders, including the DTIC, the SIFE, CSIR was part of that, as well as the MedCita. I doubt if I still have enough time to go through my okay. Sometimes it's an advantage to go last, but for today I think it's the other way around because I'd prepared a 50-page presentation. So I will skip some of the stuff and then just focus on what's important for the day, and then obviously the presentation will be shared. Right. So as the Arts and Skills Development Center, we offer three kinds of programs. We've got apprenticeships that are running for 36 months. Here I've said up to 48 months because the SETA contract does extend for 4 years. In case a learner does not complete their program in 36 months, they have enough time for a second or a third attempt at the trade test. Then apart from apprenticeships, we are also offering learnerships for a period of 12 months. And then shorter skills programs that range from 1 month up to, from 1 month up to 12 months. But at this present moment, the longest skills program that we have is the IRM, or Installation, Repair and Maintenance Program, that is running for 9 months. Now, so if you look at the Occupational Programs Department, those are the trades that we have currently, which are accredited by the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations, or the QCTO, as well as those legacy qualifications. So we've got under foundry operations, pattern maker, molder, melter, and then next to the foundry operations, we have fitter and turner, as well as the toolmaker trade. And then we have other support services or trades that offer support services. We've got the electrician, plumber, boiler maker, refrigeration mechanic, the commercial one, and then the list goes on and on and on. Now for today, I want to make a special mention to two skills programs that speak to energy efficiency and a green economy. So recently we've started piloting the IRM program on the plumbing hand in partnership with the National Business Initiative. And this is a 9-month program which includes college training as well as workplace exposure. And then we introduced a solar water heating system as part of our efforts in contributing towards a green energy. And then as of January this year, we also piloted the EPC, or Energy Performance Practitioner Certificate, in partnership with the Institute of Energy Professionals Africa, or IEPA. And then over and above of that, we have all those other skills programs under the community house building trades. Now, when we talk of A21, it's called A21, or Artisan of the 21st Century, the training model that has been piloted through the DHET from 2016. Some of you might have heard of what is called the dual system apprenticeship program, or the DS, what was called the DSPP, when we ran it as one of the 4 TVET colleges from 2016. And it was piloted with the electrician as well as the plumber occupational certificates. and it has yielded quite good results. Now, the training model that we are seeking to expand right into the foundry programs is the A21. How does the A21 work? Right at the beginning of the program, there is a tripartite agreement that is entered into between the learner, the SDP, which is the skills development provider, and then there should be an employer, which is actually the most important stakeholder in this partnership. How does this assist? This assists in a way that before a learner starts attending a program, they already have an employer where they can be placed at and complete their workplace exposure at. How does the program run? I mentioned the dual system earlier on. So what happens is there is 2 blocks throughout the 36 months period, which is the college block and the company block. So these 2 blocks alternate each other. Once the tripartite agreement is concluded, the learner can start at the company for a number of weeks, and then they do their induction and everything else. Then they come into the college, they complete a college block, they cover a certain percentage of the curriculum. Once they have covered that percentage, they are placed at the company, and they alternate between company and college for the duration of the program. This is unlike the way we used to roll out the legacy qualifications, wherein the learner comes in for 26 weeks at the college, they complete the knowledge modules, they complete the simulated practical modules, and then once they are done with everything, they are now placed at the company for the remainder of the period. And then maybe when it's now about 3-4 months to the end of the 36 months, the learner has to be recalled to the college and then close off the gaps. So what we have realized is that with the A21 training model, it has actually yielded better results, as you can see there. We have had 2 electrician groups. The first one gave us about 87.5% ISA pass rate or trade test pass rate as that second attempt. And then the second one, it was 100%. The same applies to plumber intake 1. Now we are running with the plumbing intake 2. So this is the model that we are looking to expand into and also use it on our foundry operations trades. Okay, and then how are our programs funded? So we receive most of our funding from the DHET. We receive our funding through the National Skills Fund. We also apply for discretionary grants with the SETAs. And then we also have a few private companies who actually send in their workers as learners to us. And then our target group, because we have a very big challenge when it comes to unemployment, and we are situated or located in the location, we prioritize the unemployed youth, which also brings in itself quite a number of challenges as well. Out of the current 32 apprentices we have in our foundry operations between pattern maker and molder, they are all unemployed youth coming from the area around Springs, Kwache, Matsakani area. So once we receive the funding through the above means, we use that funding to cover the training costs, learner stipends or allowances, as well as startup toolkits. Now we understand that when it comes to the startup toolkits, as part of our exit strategy, we would say if one learner cannot gain meaningful employment in a company, they should at least be able to do something for themselves. Obviously, that works with certain trades. When it now comes into the foundry sector, it's a very, very different ballgame altogether. So in terms of sustainability of the operations of the center, we are still conducting a lot of research to try and find out how best can we go about training as well as post training. So we have our exit strategy that we have applied with the other programs, and we are yet to expand it into the foundry operations to see whether it can work or not. And we're really appealing to industry to say we need to put our hands together and try and assist these young people. We are really passionate about them, and we don't want to train and see them again back on the streets. Then on the next slide, it covers our training and quality partners. Obviously, starting from the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations, and then we have several sitters that we are working with. We have other role players that have provided us with equipment, that have provided us with expertise. We have the DTI there. We have the German Corporation that has worked with us through the GIZ. And then the bottom three on the right-hand side, those are employer organizations that we have worked with in the A21 model. Remember, I mentioned the lead employer or employer. With this system, it has been very, very easy for us to secure workplaces because we're working through, for example, we've got IOPSA there, which is the Institute of Plumbing South Africa for the plumber trade. So we had to approach IOPSA, and then they spoke to their member companies or to become host employers. And then we also worked with the Electrical Contractors Association for the electrician trade, as well as CIFSA. So it is our wish that we continue with this A21 model or explore how we can make use of it in the foundry trades so that we can have access to more workplaces. Currently, we have 4 companies that we are working with, or 4 foundries that we are working with, including Prime Auto Industrial. There is also MIS Engineering, which is quite few when you compare with the number of learners that we have. We have about 16 pattern makers, and then we have about 17 pattern makers and 15 molders. Now we find ourselves placing more than one apprentice in one company. That in itself brings quite a number of challenges in terms of the mentor to learner ratios. Remember, the requirement from the QCTO says maximum 1:4. And then if you look at now the statistics, it does not balance out. So with the buy-in of the industry, and if we could one of these days develop a common value system, where in the SDP, the employer, everybody in the value chain understands what we are trying to achieve here, then it will become much, much better for us, and the quality of the apprentice that we produce at the end of the day will become much, much better. Now, because these slides are going to be shared, I'm not going to go through the guidelines that were developed for the SDP as well as the employers. These you can go through maybe in your own time. But one of the most important slides is the occupational programs delivery, wherein it has got those 7 steps coming from, starting with the ETD practitioners, which is your facilitators. In our case, we gave preference to artisans, qualified artisans with a minimum of 3 years industry experience. Then those are the guys that were interviewed, and those are the guys that are doing facilitation at the college. And then they also registered assessors and moderators. In cases where we do not have those, we also get them from the industry to come in and do internal moderation. Right, and then the list goes up to number 7. Right, then this, in terms of the structure of occupational qualifications, it's just important to take note that there is 3 components to the new occupational qualification. That is your knowledge modules, your practical or simulated practical, which takes place at the college in a workshop environment. If you come through to the GFTC at Kwatema campus, there is a workshop, there is workshops wherein learners are actually doing the practicals in terms of melting, molding, and making those patterns. And then over and above of that, the third component is covered at the workplace, wherein the learner gets to have more exposure and also gets to understand the business side of things. Right, and then the next 2-3 slides just show how our workshop setup is like for this A21 model, wherein integration between your knowledge and practical is very, very critical. So you find that within the workshop, that's where our classrooms are located. It becomes very, very easy for the facilitator to switch between knowledge and practical. If he identifies a gap when the learners are doing their practical, take them back to their classroom, and the end results have been quite remarkable. And then the next one just shows our foundry workshops, and there is our facilitator, Mr. Belling, working with those apprentices. And then some of our successes on the A21 model include the boiler maker under the new project from the DHET is part of the dual system, and it's called the Centers of Specialization. You can read on it and find out more on this one. So when COVID hit, we decided to come up with a project and give it to our learners to assist the other campuses. And from that boiler making workshop, we've managed to produce more than 150 foot pedal sanitizer stands. And they've been distributed to the different campuses. That's what you see on the top right corner of your screen. And then below there, it's the DSAP program for plumbing, wherein they were working at our different campuses as a contractor doing actual plumbing work. So from knowledge to simulated practical to actual work. We have done this with plumbing. We have done this with a whole lot of our other programs. And from the foundry training center, they have made countless number of gifts that were distributed to our delegates from Germany, Italy, France, China, Japan. So we are proud to say the foundry in our college has got a product that is sitting at this point in time in Germany and all over the world. Okay, and then what do we have for the future? This is one part where we're not experts when it comes to renewable energy or energy efficiency, but we heavily rely on industry, and we wish to have more partnerships signed between the TVET colleges and the industry to ensure that that expertise that we've been listening to from this morning, it's a wealth of knowledge and experience that we actually need in our TVET colleges. Because as we are doing training, who are we training for? We are training for industries, and we cannot continue operating in silos. This is where we find ourselves. We are sitting in our own corner. We train. They go and sit at home. They've been placed in companies, but because the relationship is not that strong, and as we might all know, we have seen from the numbers what's happening in terms of the foundries. The number is going down. Something needs to be done about it. All those skills that are needed to improve energy efficiency, we need to have that at the training center, because we actually have vast access to the communities that really need these skills. So I am again appealing to industry to say, let's come together, sign partnerships, and work together moving forward. But that picture just shows one of our workshops. It's still a work in progress. We are looking to establish a green energy workshop where we will specialize more on solar PV installation, repair, maintenance, as well as solar water heater installation, repair, and maintenance. Due to time limitations, I will end here, and I will end with a statement from Henry Ford. At one time he said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And then there is my details as well. Please, let's keep in touch. We would really want to come through and visit these industries, because we know that that's where the information is, that's where the expertise is, and that is the only point where we can actually work from and improve on our offerings. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gardner. Much appreciated. Can we have some few questions from the floor before? Yeah, please go ahead. You should be signing for partnership.
Hi, I'm Gia. Thank you for your presentation. It's very informative. I'd like to know, how can we bridge the gap between training and actually getting the trained people into industry and offering them like the opportunities that they need? I heard you appeal to industry and saying that we need more partnerships and all of that, but what can really be done? Because I feel like there's still quite a gap between people who need training, people who receive training, and them actually implementing the skills in the right sector.
Let me start by saying, I think I did mention that we only working with 4 companies at the moment. The requirement is that from the SETA side, the companies that we are working with should be accredited or should be workplace approved. That's where the challenge starts. Remember, they have to meet a certain criteria according to the requirements of the qualification itself. So perhaps we need a round table in which the QCTO needs to be part of, the SETA needs to be part of, and look at maybe these smaller industries or these smaller SMMEs who do not meet the whole criteria but meet a specific part, and then they can conduct workplace approval on that specific section. From our side, it shouldn't be a problem because we can always rotate the learners between different companies, as long as at the end of the day they cover the whole scope of the curriculum. We have done that in the DSPP. We had an operational and strategic steering committee in which these different stakeholders were sitting. And once we identified that there is gaps, we would discuss and say, okay, which company is able to take on these 3 learners from the other company, and then rotation can take place. It was not possible with other companies because it was just a lot complicated. But I think that's a starting point that can actually assist in that regard. I'm not too sure if you answered. Thank you.
I think on this note, thank you so much. I want to release Gardner. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of the NCPC, yeah, just a round of applause. On behalf of the NCPC South Africa National Cleaner Production Center, I would like to thank you all. Thank you, the speakers, and thank you, everyone who has taken time to attend today's session. And it is on this note that we call this session closed. I thank you very much for attending this. Thank you.